Hello, my dear students, and welcome back. I know your exams are just around the corner and things can get a little tense, right? Don't you worry. We're going to take a nice deep breath and do a super quick revision of one of the most important chapters: time, motion, and speed. Come on, let's make sure you're all set to rock that exam. So let's just dive right in. Have you ever stopped and wondered, how did our grandparents' know what time it was? I mean, there were no smartphones, no digital watches. How did they know when to wake up or when it was lunchtime? Let's find out. Well, it turns out they were incredibly smart. They had to be, right? Without any fancy gadgets, they used their amazing brains and a little bit of what we Indians call jugaad to come up with some truly clever ways to measure time. One of the very first ideas was the sundial. It's such a simple, beautiful concept. It just uses the sun's shadow. As the sun moves across the sky, the shadow cast by the dial moves too, pointing to the time of day. And you know what? The world's biggest stone sundial is right here in India at the Jantar Mantar in Jaipur. How cool is that? Okay, so what happened on a cloudy day? Well, that's when the water clock came in handy. It worked with a steady drip, drip, drip of water. People would mark levels on a container, and as the water filled up or emptied out, they could measure how much time had passed. So clever. I'm sure you've seen this one, maybe in a movie or on an Instagram reel. The Hourglass. It's basically the same idea as a water clock, but with fine sand instead of water. The best part? You could carry it around, and unlike water, the sand wasn't bothered by the heat or cold. And here's another brilliant idea, especially for telling time after the sun went down: the candle clock. They would just make marks along the side of a candle. As the candle burned down past each mark, you'd know another hour had gone by. So simple, but it worked. But all of these methods had their limits. The real revolution, the thing that completely changed how we keep time, came from watching a simple swinging object. Yes, I'm talking about the pendulum, the heart of all those old grandfather clocks. The story goes that the great scientist Galileo was sitting in a church, a bit bored maybe, and he noticed a lamp swinging from the ceiling. He used his own pulse to time the swings and discovered something amazing. It didn't matter if the swing was big or small. The time it took to go back and forth was always the same. That was a huge eureka moment for science. And this discovery gave us a very, very important concept for your exams. It's called the time period. So what is it? It's simply the time a pendulum takes to complete one full oscillation. That is, one full swing from one side to the other and back again. Please remember this definition. Now, here's the exam question that tries to trick so many students. What actually changes a pendulum's time period? Is it the length of the string? Yes, absolutely. A longer string means a longer, slower swing. But what about how heavy the bob is? Does the mass matter? Nope, not at all. It's a trick. Just remember, length matters, mass does not. Okay, fantastic. So now we are masters of measuring time. What can we do with that? Well, we can start measuring how fast things move. So let's get into our next topic: speed. The definition of speed is actually very simple. It's just the distance an object covers in a certain amount of time. You know, like when you're running a race, we say you covered 100 meters in, say, 15 seconds. That's a measure of your speed. It's all about distance and time. And this brings us to the golden formula of this chapter. You have to remember this one. Speed is equal to the total distance covered divided by the total time taken. Write it down, say it out loud, do whatever it takes, but lock this formula in your brain. All right, let's try a typical exam problem. So Swati School is 3.6 kilometers away, and it takes her 15 minutes to get there on her bicycle. The question asks for her speed in meters per second. Now be careful. See how they gave the values in kilometers and minutes, but want the answer in meters and seconds? That's the key. So the first step is always to convert the units. First, distance. 3.6 kilometers is how many meters? That's right, 3,600 meters. Next, time. 15 minutes, well, each minute has 60 seconds, so 15 times 60 is 900 seconds. Perfect. Now we just use our formula. 3,600 meters divided by 900 seconds, and that gives us 4 meters per second. See? Easy peasy once you do it step by step. Awesome work. You're doing so well. Okay, just one last thing to cover. Think about your school bus in the morning. Does it travel at the same exact speed the entire way? No way, right? It speeds up, it slows down, it stops. This brings us to the difference between uniform and non-uniform motion. Let's break it down. Uniform motion is when an object moves at a constant speed in a straight line. It covers the same distance every second. Think of a car on a completely empty highway with cruise control on. Non-uniform motion is what we see all the time. The speed is always changing, like a car in city traffic, constantly stopping and starting. That's non-uniform.
All right, we have covered so much. Let's do a super quick, rapid-fire revision of all the key points. This is your 30-second cheat sheet before the exam. Are you ready? Let's go.
Okay, let's tick them off. Time period, the time for one full swing. Check. The SI unit of time, second. Check. The formula for average speed, total distance divided by total time. Check. Uniform motion, constant speed in a straight line. Check. And non-uniform motion, changing speed. Check. You've got this. Okay, before you go, I have a challenge question for you brainy kids. A train is moving at 90 kilometers per hour. My question is, how many meters does it travel in just 1 second? Remember the unit conversion. Put your answers in the comments below. I really want to see what you come up with. All the very best for your exams. You are going to be amazing. I'll see you in the next explainer.